Walt Disney World covers a vast area and there are multiple ways to get from point A to point B. Because of this, understanding Disney's transportation network before your next trip could save you valuable hours. From buses and boats to monorails, Skyliners, and even Disney's own rideshare service, there are plenty of ways to get around. But each one does work slightly differently, and I'm going to share with you some tips to make things easy. In this video, we're going to cover everything you need to know about Disney World transportation, including how each system works, where it goes, and what options are actually the quickest. So let's get started. The Disney Bus Network is by far the most common transportation method around Walt Disney World. If you're staying at a Disney resort, the chances are you'll be using the buses at least once every day. The great thing is that the buses are completely free to use and you don't actually need to be staying at a Disney resort to ride them. The Disney buses connect Disney resorts to the theme parks and back, Disney resorts to Disney Springs, Disney resorts to water parks, although sometimes you may need to switch buses at Disney Springs or Animal Kingdom at quieter times of the year, and of course Disney theme parks to other Disney theme parks. The one thing that catches a lot of people out is about Disney Springs buses. There are buses from Disney Springs to every Disney resort hotel, but there are no direct buses from Disney Springs to the theme parks and vice versa. This is intentional to stop people parking for free at Disney Springs and then taking the bus to a park. If you are wanting to travel from Disney Springs to a park or from a park to Disney Springs, you'll need to go via a resort or use another transportation method. For example, if you are at Epcot and you're wanting to get to Disney Springs for dinner, then you would be best walking to one of the resorts nearby, such as the Boardwalk or the Yacht and Beach Club, and then from there you can jump on a bus and head over to Disney Springs. If you are wanting to hop between the parks, Disney operates direct buses between all 4 theme parks. These normally begin running at 10 a.m. and they continue until after park closing. The Disney buses are very regular, and because of this, Disney doesn't publish exact bus schedules, but generally speaking, the buses will start around 90 minutes before early park entry. From there, they continue throughout the day until roughly 1 hour after park closing. You can usually expect a bus every 10 to 20 minutes. If you're staying at a Disney resort, the easiest way to check the next bus is through the My Disney Experience app. And if you open the app whilst you're staying at a resort and select your resort information and click on the bus times option, you will see the estimated arrival times for the upcoming buses. There are also screens at the resort bus stops which detail the next expected bus. It is worth noting the times are not always perfectly accurate, but they are pretty close. A few other quick tips to know about the buses are that some resorts, such as Coronado Springs, Caribbean Beach, and Saratoga Springs, have multiple stops before the bus actually leaves the resort. This is because of the size of the resort, so they will make multiple stops, picking people up, dropping people off before they actually then head to the park. This can sometimes add 10 to 15 minutes to your journey, so it is worth factoring in if you are trying to make a reservation, and maybe something to consider if you are trying to request a specific room. In a similar vein, some of the resorts also may share buses in non-busy periods, such as the Contemporary shares buses with Wilderness Lodge at times. Thankfully, this isn't usual practice at park closure, where there are lots of people trying to get back to the room. You should always have a dedicated bus at that point. The Disney Skyliner is Disney World's newest major transportation system, and for many guests, it's the most enjoyable way to travel around the resort, providing some wonderful views. It is essentially a network of gondolas that fly above Walt Disney World, and it's pretty cool to watch. The Skyliner connects Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, Disney's Riviera Resort, Pop Century, the Art of Animation, Beach Club, Yacht Club, Boardwalk, and the 2 parks, Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Caribbean Beach Resort acts as the main hub of the Skyliner network, meaning that many guests will need to change lines here during their journey. From the main hub at Caribbean Beach, you can connect to 3 different Skyliner routes. The first line will take you to Disney's Pop Century and Art of Animation Resort. The second line will take you to the Riviera Resort, and then onto Epcot and the Boardwalk area, which includes resorts such as the Boardwalk Inn, Yacht Club, and Beach Club. And then finally, there is the line to Disney's Hollywood Studios. Whilst changing lines might sound inconvenient, the process is pretty straightforward, and there is clear signage and cast members on hand to help direct guests if you need it. One important thing to know is that the Skyliner arrives at Epcot's International Gateway entrance. This entrance is separate from the main entrance, and it's located between the UK and France pavilions in the World Showcase. This is not the same entrance where the buses arrive, and whether this is an advantage or disadvantage really depends on your plans. It's ideal if you're heading for rides such as Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, but perhaps less convenient if you're wanting to road drop Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. The Skyliner can temporarily be stopped during lightning storms, severe weather, or maintenance periods. When this happens, Disney usually provides replacement bus transportation along the same routes. The Skyliner isn't going to be for everyone. Some guests absolutely love it. However, due to factors such as the height, some obviously aren't fans. If you've ridden the Skyliner before, you'll also know that sometimes it does briefly stop during the journey. These are completely normal, but the first time it happens, it can be a little bit unsettling. The pause is generally caused because some guests take a little bit more time to board and disembark at stations. Many cabins do feature Disney character wraps, which look fantastic from the outside. However, some people do prefer the unwrapped cabins because the graphics can slightly obstruct your view, and trust me, the views are definitely enjoyable from up here. During the quieter periods, you will often get a cabin to yourself, but at busier periods, like on the morning for early entry or at park closure, Disney may ask multiple parties to share a gondola, so do be prepared for that. The Skyliner is one of Disney's most accessible transportation options. Wheelchairs and ECVs can roll directly into the specially adapted cabins, and strollers generally do not need to be folded down as long as they fit within the size guidelines, making it especially convenient for families with young children. Let's now talk about one of the most iconic forms of Disney transportation. This is, of course, the monorail, and this has been transporting guests around Walt Disney World since opening day, and it remains one of the most popular ways to travel. The system operates 3 separate lines. You have the Resort Monorail, and this loop serves Magic Kingdom, Disney's Contemporary Resort, Disney's Grand Floridian Resort, Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, and the Transportation and Ticket Center. This line is perfect for heading to the parks from these hotels, or if you want to resort hop around the Magic Kingdom area, you can do that via this monorail. You also have the Express Monorail, and this line runs directly between Magic Kingdom and the Transportation and Ticket Center. It does not make any resort stops. If your goal here is to simply get to or from the Magic Kingdom from the Ticket or Transportation Center, this is usually the quickest monorail route. And finally, you have the Epcot monorail, and this line connects the Transportation and Ticket Center to Epcot, and this one is definitely worth a ride because you get to go through Epcot itself and see the park from a different perspective. You'll hear people mention the Transportation and Ticket Center all the time, and the TTC is essentially Disney World's transportation hub. It's where guests parking for Magic Kingdom arrive before continuing on to their journey. It's also where you can transfer between the transportation methods. For example, if you've arrived from Epcot on the Epcot monorail, you don't have to continue onto another monorail. If you wanted to, you could instead switch to the Magic Kingdom ferry boat if the queue is shorter. One huge advantage for families is that strollers do not need to be folded down before boarding. Wheelchairs and ECVs can also board via accessible ramps. The monorail has become such an icon of Walt Disney World that many guests ride it simply for the experience when they don't even need transportation. You will also find lots of monorail merch. There are actually several different boats operating across the Walt Disney World Resort. The Magic Kingdom is the first one, and this is the most famous boat route. It is the large ferry that travels between the Transportation and Ticket Center to Magic Kingdom. If you've never done this before, it offers some fantastic views of the castle as you cross Seven Seas Lagoon. Seven Seas Lagoon is also home to smaller boats that connect the Magic Kingdom resorts. These go to and from the Magic Kingdom, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Wilderness Lodge, and Fort Wilderness. These are an often relaxing alternative to the monorail, and they're great to use if you want to go and explore around these different resorts. The Friendship boats operate around the Epcot and Hollywood Studios area. They connect Epcot International Gateway, Boardwalk, Yacht Club, Beach Club, Swan and Dolphin, and Hollywood Studios. Although walking is often the faster option here, the boats do provide a relaxing option, especially at the end of a long park day or if you're trying to save on some steps. And finally, in the Disney Springs area, you have the Sassagoula River Cruise. These boats connect Disney Springs to Port Orleans Riverside and French Quarter, Saratoga Springs, and Old Key West. It's a peaceful journey, and it's one of the most scenic transportation routes on property. It's great if you want to head to Port Orleans French Quarter for some beignets, but do be prepared that at peak times this can get very busy, and there is a bus that also does run to the resort if you need it. While Disney transportation is excellent, sometimes you will want the quickest route possible, and that's where the option to pay out of pocket and use rideshare services such as Uber and Lyft come in. You can request rides from Disney resorts, theme parks, water parks, and Disney Springs. One important thing to remember is that standard Uber and Lyft vehicles cannot drop guests directly at Magic Kingdom entrance. Instead, they drop off at the Transportation and Ticket Center, where you'll still need to take either the ferry or the monorail. Minivans are Disney's premium rideshare service, and they are operated through the Lyft app. These are distinctive red and white vehicles that look a lot like Minnie Mouse herself, and they are driven by Disney cast members. The biggest advantage of minivans is that they can access the Magic Kingdom bus area and drop you much closer to the park entrance than standard rideshare services. They are, however, considerably more expensive than your regular Uber and Lyft rides, but can be worth it if convenience is your priority. So which transportation method is best? If speed is your priority, buses are often fastest to Magic Kingdom. The Skyliner is probably going to be your fastest option for Epcot and Hollywood Studios from the Skyliner resorts. The monorail is great for Magic Kingdom area resorts, however, some do have a walking path which may be best to utilize. Uber and Lyft are usually the fastest overall, if of course you're willing to pay. If you're looking for the most enjoyable experience, the Skyliner, monorail, and ferry boats are all attractions in their own right, and you should definitely try and give them a ride at least once. And there we have it. That is our complete guide to Walt Disney World transportation. Hopefully you now have a much better understanding of how to get around Disney World and which transportation options will work best for your trip. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to give the video a like, subscribe for more Disney World planning tips, and let us know in the comments what your favorite transportation method is. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in the next one.